What up, this is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Netflix new series, Lock and Key. Hey, before you watch this review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you would like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. First up, I would like to say thank you to Netflix for granting me the screeners to the entire 10 episodes of this new show. They've asked me to not spill spoilers, therefore I will honor their request. As a matter of fact, they gave me this pretty long list of which details on this show that I should not reveal. And you know what? It's totally understandable. Especially when you're dealing with a show that has a lot of supernatural twists and turns to it. So this video review is spoiler-free. I repeat, there are no spoilers in this review. Now, just to be clear, I have never read the comic book series on which this show is based. So those of you who have, or those of you who are fans of the books, you might be able to draw better comparisons than I do. But we all remember the long roads to get this adaptation to happen. For a number of years now, since the first volume hit the stands, we heard that it might potentially be turned into maybe a movie or a TV series, and we all recall that 2011 pilot that unfortunately Fox decided not to pick up. So I'm glad that Lock and Key finally happens at Netflix, because for all the criticisms that we may have about the streaming service giant, we can't deny the reality that Netflix houses what I think are some of today's intriguing and addictive young adult supernatural original shows like Sabrina or even The Order, and of course, its most famous pride and joy, Stranger Things. So for Lock and Key to be on Netflix is like, it just fits, you know? Like it belongs there. Now with that said, after having watched all 10 episodes, I gotta say that I find Lock and Key to be a bit of a mixed bag. There's a lot about it that I genuinely enjoy. Parts that are mysteriously super duper thrilling, but then there are also parts about it that are kind of wobbly and uneven. Based on IDW's best-selling cult graphic novel series by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez, Lock and Key is about three siblings of the Locke family who, after the death of their father, moved to their ancestral home in Massachusetts only to discover that the house has magical keys that give them vast array of powers and abilities. Little do they know, a devious demon also wants the keys, and she will stop at nothing to get her hands on them. Executive produced by Carlton Cuse. Okay, let's go through what I think are some of this show's positives. The world building aspect of this show is remarkable. Now, it's not a spoiler that this show features several magical keys. I already mentioned that to you in the synopsis. There's a key that can let you go anywhere, and there's a key that can let you access memories. And so because of that, we, the audiences, get to witness various kinds of fascinating production designs and visual effects that I think, in my opinion, are stunning and incredibly well crafted. I once watched a featurette that revealed that this project had to significantly alter the depiction of what one of the keys can do, so it deviates away from how it is pictured in the comic books. But I think it's one of those understandable changes that the fans can accept and embrace. I think you will like the direction that the show went with, because it still has that mystifying approach, and it's not laughable or seemingly ridiculous. The keys to me are such exciting items, because it's the same geeking out that I felt when I was watching Fantastic Beasts movie, for example. Ooh, what can this one strange creature do? Ah, what can that beast or that other beast do? Or it's like watching the first few Harry Potter movies when the students learn and discover the abilities that different spells can provide. The wonder of finding out more about them and using them to your own benefit. That's how I feel about these keys, and they've become sort of superpowers for these characters. Even the designs for those keys, The edges on them are so unique and antique and peculiar. Suddenly you become like the villain Dodge because you just want to collect them all. Speaking of villain, that is also one of this show's highlights. I freaking love actress Leila de Oliveira in this role. You may have recognized Leila as previously part of the cast member of last year's Netflix movie In the Tall Grass, which was based on the novella by Stephen King and his son Joe Hill. That's right, the same Joe Hill who created Lock and Key comic books. As the character Dodge, Leila is sexy, she's manipulative, she's hypnotic. There's this sort of serpent-like, deceptive, alluring qualities to her performance, and Leila delivers it so effortlessly. Okay, so now on to the parts of this show that I think could have been better. In my opinion, Lock and Key does a terrible job with some of the romances or the flings between some of the characters. Nothing about them are compelling, and some of them are even orchestrated just to create a drama that really is not all that warranted. The romances or the crushes or the flings are so poorly written, so much so that when I was watching it, I could not wait for the story to go back to where the characters have to solve shit or pull off their Goonies type adventures. Because frankly, the lovey-dovey or the heartbreak stops that happen along the way are absolutely cringeworthy. Now, without going into details, I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the character Kinsey Locke. I can't say more without going into spoiler territory, and I want to keep this video spoiler free, but let me put it this way. Kinsey Locke frequently makes decisions that are both frustrating and upsetting, and actress Emilia Jones's performance is not helping either. Listen, I understand teen angst, but Emilia Jones milks teen angst too much to the point where her character Kinsey becomes unlikable. Lock and Key also often finds difficulties hitting the right rhythm tonally between the fright or the scares and the Goonies adventures and the teen dramas. Now, don't get me wrong, I still recommend Lock and Key. I think it's enjoyable enough. It'll for sure capture your interest and curiosity, especially with regards to those amazing keys. And there's a lot about it that can make you look past its shortcomings. And I think Netflix is ultimately the better home for this type of story as opposed to Fox. But just know that for a young adult supernatural series, Lock and Key is not as strong or as solid as it could be.